Hi, I'm Seamless, and today is Wednesday, which means it's time for our new track from scratch stream. And today is going to be a continuation of the Hardstyle track, which is going to be good. So before I play this track, I want to point out something. It sounds the way it sounds now because this is where I left off last time. However, I'm taking to actually doing homework between streams, where I'm sort of working on it a bit in behind the scenes so that I can actually be a little more prepared for the streams. As you can see in the projects here, there's actually a couple additional projects where I made changes and altered some stuff just to experiment so that I had a better idea about what I was doing during the stream, which is today. And I'm saying this because when I play what's about to happen, I want you to know that this is going to change a lot. So, I'll play what I got so far, and then we'll move on. Is that, and then there's this recording, which is I like a lot. I'm probably gonna make some changes to this too, but it's there as a fast experiment from last time.
I'm recording a modulator. This is my modulator.
And then as a kind of a mock setup, I have this thing going on here. Did I do this last time? I must have. Yeah, I don't actually want that though.
Modulator. Modulator.
Yeah. So this stream is going to begin like it has all pretty much every time so far, with me working on the kick. Now, I actually have already a plan, which is, I'm basically explaining why I know what I'm doing so far. Just so that you're not thinking just like, why didn't you do it the first time? All right. There's a lot about this that's incorrect. Okay, so the first problem that we have is that there's not a lot of attack going on. It's not very impactful. And people talk about the camera, and the cameras are flipping out, and it's gonna be like that. It's not a YouTube problem, it's a camera problem. It's happening live. So don't worry about too much about that. So this guy. So in my tests, there were two different ways that I chose to solve this. One is to make like another layer that's the attack and kind of have that go outside of the processing. And the other one was that I could sort of do this. But the sound itself serves a purpose the way that what it's doing right now. And the mid-range, the mid-frequencies, these guys, where the most of the tone is coming from, is going to have a lot of changes to it too. I think I will just do what I did in my tests and just clone this. It will need to go into the EQ here, which is going into the compressor. And it will be, let's just solo that. It's basically just a kick. Running it in through Harmor. I'm using Harmor as kind of a sampler and also as a sort of an editor. I mean, I'm using it as a sampler. I'm doing stuff with it that I could do with samplers. Sampers. When the Hardstyle, the camera is fine, but when talking, it's not. Someone pointed out in the chat. It's pretty funny. So this. Whoa. Now the purpose of doing that. Now, I wonder if I want to put an EQ before or after that. I'll put an EQ before, see what I can do with that. Yeah. So I need that to create the harmonics for me to screw with in the next layer. See how that works? And, yeah, so that by itself isn't going to solve the problem. It's pretty related to the other guy. Alright, so there's the one more thing I have to do, which is going to be an extra thing. But before I do that, I want to mess with the mid dude. And I had some solutions to this as well. Actually, before I do that, let's go to the actual main thing. Kill you. Now, I wonder if I want to put an EQ before or after that. I'll put an EQ before, see what I can do with that. That would be too short. Way too short. Let's not do that. The other way to kind of control the length of it is to use... Someone in the chat says, the whole goddamn stream has been about kick so far. Well, I'm sort of noticing that that's kind of what Hardstyle is about. So I feel like I'm doing the right thing. So there's that, and then there's this guy. This is controlling the position of this EQ point. See how it's moving with the poles. What was the other thing? Oh yeah, this guy. This is the distortion. See, now we're starting to get it. Now we're starting to get it. It's happening. It's happening. Let's see. Now, the problem with this guy, this click here, is that it's atonal. Yeah, I made it so that it's the same pitch every time, and if I let it go too long in the volume, it starts to have a tone, which isn't the right tone. I can see now why Hardstyle producers split up the kick into its anatomy in terms of time a lot more granularly than what I'm doing, which is really just attack and everything else. What was I doing? Let's see. Someone in the chat is saying, before you pitch it, make sure you're doing right, like you're doing right. Export the kick to wave and then time stretch, pitch, free slicer, or contact. I don't really want to work with actual audio. Although, one of the big characteristics of doing the kicks is the whole like reverse kick thing. And there are a couple ways I could do that live. But one of the reasons why I like to keep it synthetic like this is because I'm sure what'll happen is that later on, when the track is near completion, I'm still going to want to change the kick. And that'll be a lot harder if I made it into audio. I mean, impossible. I'm just lazy. Let's get in there. I can still shorten it a little bit. Of course, the bass is having that a similar issue here. nice here. I have to do this thing, and then I can do a double curve. A double curve. Something like that. Did I do tempo on that? I don't think I did. I did do it. Where's the bar? That's just there? Okay. Make the kick mono, please. Yeah. Oh, I didn't do the other part. Okay, so the last bit of this that actually made this help. See that? That's where the stereo is coming from, and I might change that. I kind of like it. See, I know I'm trying to adhere to just being a more traditional track, but there's like some things like the stereo in this that I kind of like a lot. This. Wait, I actually want to go past the distortion. I want to go into the distortion. You hear that subtle kind of like diffusion of it. I dig that. Kick is panned to right. It's panned. That might not actually be the kick, but that might actually be my stream. I am panned a bit because my inputs lie. They lie about their current panning, and I have to deal with that at some point. But because like if I made this perfectly mono, we get phase cancellation. But you know what I mean. Like if it still feels like it's too far to the right, it's because it's not. Well, anything's happening inside FL. Let's see. Let's go back in here. So one of the other things that I did a little bit was I put this in here and brought this down a bit. That's some stereo spray right there. I also don't have any reverb happening. I might introduce some of that. A lot of the kicks that I listened to that had like some air room in there had a lot of that going on. No LFO on the chorus. That's a good idea. That was a good idea, good sir. I'm gonna bring that down a little bit too. Now we're getting somewhere. Now the last portion of a thing that I need to add into here that I didn't have before is an appreciable actual kick. Now this is actually a bit of a point of contention that I noticed inside Hardstyle is that some songs have actual force in their kick. Because there is, like, my assumption on the style of hardstyle used to be that there really wasn't any bass, and that's wrong. There is bass. There's full-on sub-frequencies. It's just that there's not a lot of like what other styles of music refer to as punch, which is just like what you would expect to hear out of like an actual like a house kick or something like that. And all of the hardstyle songs I actually liked, and that actually have punch the way that I like it in their kicks, were all songs that a lot of hardstyle fans labeled as not actually being hardstyle. There might be some truth to that because I'm honestly not that much of a genre historian, but I just thought that was an interesting observation. And the way that I'm going to do this, I'm going to kind of cheat a little bit. I'm going to use a preset that I made a long time ago for something completely unrelated. And it's a citrus preset. That's not a sine wave. Dirt. I have my own folder for presets now. Metal kick. If any of you guys have seen the how to kick series, of which I think are 2 videos, or even just 1, this is a citrus kick that I synthesized to sound like a metal, like the genre metal kick drum. And did a damn good job. And what I want out of this is these guys. That and this. And I'm gonna use this a little bit to sort of change, to add some punch, a little bit of punch, not a lot of punch, because like I don't want it to become an electro kick. Why is music stereo not 5.1 or something? That's mostly to do with end user capability. Not everyone, actually, I think statistically almost no one has surround sound. Mostly movie theaters, people with home theater setups or like gaming rigs or whatever. But the vast majority of music consumption happens over systems that are stereo. That's why music is stereo. Also because we have 2 ears. So, what was I doing? Oh, yeah, pitch. I want to make sure this is centered on all pitch. This is going to screw up a little bit of the characteristics, but not the ones that matter. And I'm going to change some of the main aspects anyway. The way this is made is pretty straightforward. It's just a kick, like the side and drop that we all expect out of kicks. That kind of thing. And that's just a mess. An FM mess. It's just more subtle than most genres. Yeah, which is, yeah. People were saying that there is punch in kicks. And this is something that I noticed. Like when I was comparing what I was doing with the kick, basically at this point yesterday when I was dicking around with the kicks, I compared it to a couple of noise controller songs, a couple of Headhunter songs. Alpha something. I forget what mix, whatever. But I stuck mostly to the big anthems like DEF CON Climax. There was another one I forget. And like the standard, really standard sounds. Those were the kicks that I was trying to like, and the mixes because I did do a little bit of mix research as well that I will apply to what's happening here. So now this is going to go into the compressor. Compressor. That would actually be a great name for a compressor plugin. Compressor. A little bit better. Actually, I think I might not have had this in the compressor when I was doing it. I might have just put it out aside it. There it is. It's a bit too much though. What is that? That's upper 4. What do I have on the... I'm going to turn that down, of course. So what does that sound like with the things? Actually, something else that I did was that I actually brought this down an octave lower. I used this pattern as the main pattern. Some kind of double hit happening. That's because of one of the temporal changes I made. Yeah. Oh yeah, that was something else I wanted to do, which was put the end of this lower. I actually kind of like what that sounds like as a tonal instrument with notes. My processor is going insane. Dear God, why is it doing that? Maybe because I'm streaming and recording at the same time, but I've always done that. I'm not doing anything crazy with this. At least I don't think I am. I'm not running any of this. Look at that though, damn. This is not even running. So it's not that guy doing it. Well, I am running all of these on like incredible. Wait, this one isn't. Why isn't that? Did I not do that for the original? No, I didn't. So again, these guys aren't the issue. This guy might be the issue though. Oh, it's because of the envelope granularity. Because I'm doing all this enveloping stuff, and that's causing it to calculate a lot of movement. If I wasn't doing it, I was doing it with the sub too, wasn't I? Alright, full on no clue why it's doing it. Let's look at my resource monitors. Let's see what that looks like. Actually, probably what's happening is that because I'm doing all of these inside Patcher, it's not multi-threaded, which is probably maxing out the single core performance. Jesus, though. Okay, so I'm apparently already doing a lot. That's got to be the encoding. All right, cool. So it's not anything FL is doing. As long as it's not causing crackles and shit, we can deal with that for now. Maybe I should go back to 1080p streaming. I am actually streaming in 1080p. I'm actually streaming at 1080p 30. I'm recording at 1080p 60, which is a lot. And I am running at a higher than usual compression just to keep myself under a certain amount of kilobyte. A little bit better. I enjoy that. All right, let's one of the things that I also wanted to change was this lead. Specifically this one. I was already destroying this guy. So now let's do some mixing. Because I have yet to actually put anything on the master besides this limiter. Diplodocus? Someone mentioned Diplodocus. That's a dinosaur, I think. I was gonna say something about. I'm still not happy with that kick. I'm probably never gonna be happy with the kick, but whatever. Make sure I got the right one going on here. Someone in the chat just says, sorry, but I really don't like this melody. It sounds like every damn hardstyle track ever made. Thank you. Because that's kind of my goal. At least add some variation. I'm going to add, so much stuff is going to be added. Like what's one of the reasons why the other video is spending a lot of time doing some random sound design, which I'm going to spend more time doing today as well. Because there's going to be I have to actually write the song, but this is just the core of it, you know, just the main progression. And whatever this is. Whatever. So, okay, last time I actually tried adding this snare onto something, which using that snare was a poor choice. Really what I wanted was just a full-on, straight-up 909 snare. And I also wanted a 909 ride. Probably also a 909 crash. I admire this genre's commitment to the 909. Streaming 4K. I tried that. Didn't work out very well. Use a Prada snare. I'm probably gonna make a snare like that. I mean, there have been snares. I believe it's called, like, you know, people refer to it as a blow up snare. There have been snares like that before Prada snare. It's just that the Prada one is the one people, you know, use. But I know how to make that. I've done it before. Let me put this somewhere. I like how completely unorganized my mixer is. Like, I didn't even stick to my usual business where I keep all the drums on one side and the synths on the other. Everything is just everywhere because pretty much everything's a synth, even the drums. I also love what this sounds like with the ride. Maybe this is just me reading too much into things, but a whole bunch of people are giving me like you know, suggestions in the chat, just being like, it needs to be fills, needs variations, as if I'm not gonna do that. Like, I feel like people are thinking I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna leave this. This is the track. It's not. Don't worry about it, guys. Isn't the Prada snare just a compressed snare with a metric ton of reverb? Yeah, pretty much. I tell you what, though, that melody is in my brain. Yeah, there's actually a bunch of like, there's the kick fills that are like the kick sound, but they're not. It's not the same. They do stuff to it. I'm not totally sure what to do with that yet. I haven't actually tried, but I haven't much like. Yeah, put Wave Shaper on the master. Just, I mean, to be totally honest, a Maximuth with without time variables essentially is a wave shaper. It's a compressor wave shaper. It's the same thing. In fact, wave shaping, distortion, and compression is the same thing. It's just that one has time variables, like attack and release and all that. And the other does not. They work on the exact same principles. Okay, so someone did give me a suggestion about the melody at one point. And by suggestion, I mean the whole bunch of people have actually taken this melody and done their own hardstyle versions of it. And I gotta say, some of them have been pretty good. And like, I've been into it. One of the things that they do a lot of is they make the melody and they kind of push it so that it sounds a bit more like rhythmic-y. Like I'm just doing full-on hits right now just because I'm trying to keep it simple. But Like if I were to do, that would actually screw up a lot of stuff if I just played that. Let's find out though. Yeah, let's like that, but without less with less this. I guess I need to make it. I need to, you know, stuff. Glitch it. Glitch to it. Gross beat. I might do some stuff like that. I do like the 6/8 kind of rhythm for these kinds of things. And it does make it a little bit more interesting when we go into straight 4/4 with this. It's actually a pretty common thing that people do in metal as well, when they switch up the time signatures between 2s and 3s. You know, the even time and odd time. Well, even time and triplet time. Odd time is not the same thing as triplet time. Put a bird on it. So yeah, I made the lead to make this sound. But that's not what I was really trying to do. Although I noticed that when I was screwing around with the voice,
I'm recording a modulator.
that if I distorted enough of it, like hard enough, it actually kind of did some of that. In fact, let's just take this and do something new to it.
I'm recording.
If you weren't around for the recording of this, oops, this is what this sounded like when I was just straight out of my mic. I'm recording a modulator. This is my modulator. That was that. And just because I don't know what'll happen, I'm going to try distorting it a bit. I really honestly don't. Like, I don't do a lot of vocal stuff, even like normal vocal stuff. So this kind of vocal stuff is full on out of my purview. What is Bird Machine?
I'm recording a modulator. This is my modulator.
Actually, here's a fun thing. So you might see sometimes that I do shapes like this versus shapes like this. These are actually two different kinds. I mean, obviously they're different, but they're very poignant two different kinds of distortion. For example, people talk about the Logic clip distortion a lot. I actually don't know specifically what Logic the clip distortion actually does, and one day I might compare the two. But if you're doing it like this, what you're essentially saying is that the volume coming in goes in straight and doesn't get screwed up until it gets big enough, because you basically just turned it loud enough that it clips. This is what it looks like when you turn stuff up in terms of its transfer curve. That's what that looks like. This is saturation, which is not the same thing, which is when at all points of the audio being even audible, it is being distorted to change the shape. This is just clipping. A lot of clipping.
I'm recording.
And sometimes I do both.
I'm recording.
Yeah. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to compress the shit out of it before I distort it.
I'm recording a modulator. This is my modulator.
See that? See, you hear that at the very end there? That's the kind of stuff that shows up in yeah, there we go. So like if I do like a band pass. Put a big old reverb on that, and I've got the weird effects. This was a full-on assumption. Like, I haven't tried this.
I'm recording a modulator. This is my modulator.
That's fun. Actually, here's the fun. That's a little too roboty with that. Yeah, so where's my reverb? Get Bahala room in here. Let's find this particularly squeaky moment. There you go. Hardstyle effects. Am I bit crashing? Am I bit crashing? Is that what's happening? No. Okay, well, let's see. How close am I? How long? How close? 8 minutes. Fine, I'll put a break in the video. Break. We're back. I have fixed the bit. I basically have to close Twitch XSplit every time that happens. All right, let's continue to do work. I should use Break Trigger. This isn't really the style that would benefit terribly well from Break Trigger. This is how you make, what do they call it, raw style? Someone asked what causes the bit crashing to happen all the time. I don't know. I have some of my suspicions, but I'm not 100% sure. Kind of like that. These are not raw style vocals. I honestly wasn't being serious. Sounds cool as shit though. So actually, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna record it before. Do I want to record it, or do I actually want to try and? Do I want to try and do that just from here? Let's give that a shot. I'm using so much CPU. Should really get to overclocking. What? Real time? What? Oh yeah, definitely real time. I think it's me saying this. Yeah, this is my modulator. Of course now I can hear it. Like that. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do stuff, and then I'm gonna sort of chop the bits I like and copy them and put them someplace else, so that I can just have little moments that I like, and I'll just throw them in the arrangement somewhere. There's definitely a way and a science of throwing them in there. I haven't figured that out yet because I haven't tried mostly, but I also haven't been paying attention to that particular stuff in the songs. I guess that's what I'll focus on before sort of the next bits. See, because I've gotten the sound design kind of acceptable for the style. I need to be paying attention more to arrangement, which for the most part it's pretty similar. I honestly feel like most hardstyle tracks try to be way more epic in their arrangement. And what I mean by epic is not so much in like the melodies are really big and soaring and the sounds are all really large. I mean epic is like, it's less the song doesn't play for very long before there's like really big stops with like announcer meaningful like soul vocals and like build-ups. It's like more build-ups than is actually music. which I'm okay with because it's just whatever. It's what it is. So it's kind of like it's like you're trying to make it more epic, and like I'm just gotta sort of figure out how that works. I feel like I'm summoning submarines. Layer the distorted bandpass with the clean version. Suppose I could do that. Not with what I'm doing here. Although I guess I could do this. It's kind of hard to hear that. Actually, instead of doing it like that, let's do it like this. Let's do it with the mix in here. I guess I need to keep the compressor. Compressor! Oh, I need to have the unbandpassed. That's not what I want. Yeah. I need to clone this whole thing and do that because I, like a smart person, didn't do this in Patcher. Actually, is there a way I could just Patcher this whole thing? That'd be pretty great, but it appears that no. Or actually, this wasn't hard. I might as well just do this again in Patcher. Here's a shortcut to deleting a mixer insert. Pitcher, no, Patcher. Basic screech, citrus, modulator 1, modulator 6, saw modulator. I think I actually did that on a previous thing, and it kind of worked. Like doing the saw modulator thing with certain other businesses. EQ.
Yes.
That's what that sounds like without it. And then compressor. And then distortion. So then really thin bandpass. I gotta activate this and link it to the automation clip I already have. And compress the shit out of it. Even that kind of sounds cool. Turn it the fuck down. And then get my Valhalla back in here. The name of this plugin reminds me of Tommy Wiseau. That's the end of part 1. Let me like actually get this through here. So we want to layer a non-bandpassed version. I guess I want to compress it still, and then I'll do that. That's too powerful. There you go. Play it on my guitar. I could actually do that. That'd be kind of interesting, wouldn't it? I could put this in Harmor and play it like a synth. Oh man, that'd be actually really dope. Whoa. See, like, if I stick with the whole modulator thing as being like the hook, and like I could use that as like a cool fill. ET phone home. This. That's what that sounds like without the. Cool. Well, that's interesting. This is the end of part 1. I'll play what I got so far. Damn, my CPU. And I totally sort of thought that I made this longer. Man, why do you do things that I don't tell you to do? There you go. There we go. And then there's this. And then now we're working on, you know, these things. Good times. I have no idea. I mean, I have a couple of ideas why my CPU is insane right now, but it's not. It's. Whatever. Anyway, for those of you watching on YouTube, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and whitelist me on your ad blocks. And if you have any questions about this, please let me know. And as usual, have a nice day.